What if a single click on Google Maps could unleash a storm of wild theories, spark heated debates about ancient aliens versus optical illusions, and even disrupt the delicate balance of a remote island's ecosystem? Imagine this. You are virtually skimming over the endless, jagged coastline of Canada's Pacific Northwest, zeroing in on a thin ribbon of land surrounded by the glacial blue of the Pacific, when something catches your eye. A haunting, skull-like formation looming just beneath the waves off the edge of Cormorant Island. Is it a message from another world? An ancient monument left by visitors from the stars? Or merely a fleeting trick of sunlight, tides, and shifting sands? As this uncanny image races around the globe, its effects ripple far beyond the digital screen, touching history, culture, science, and economics in ways no one could have predicted. Let us set sail to the northwestern tip of Canada, where the wild beauty of British Columbia meets the Pacific Ocean. Here lies Cormorant Island, a place whose story stretches back more than 10,000 years, forming part of the traditional territory of the Kwakwa peoples, and specifically, the Namgis First Nation. Their deep connection to these lands and waters is woven through oral histories, intricate wood carvings, and ceremonial traditions that shape every aspect of island life. For countless generations, the Kwakwa have read the world in the tides, the weather, the patterns of fish and birds. Theirs is a story of resilience, of villages rebuilt after colonial upheavals, of languages painstakingly revived after decades of suppression, and of stewardship maintained through centuries of change and challenge. The geography of Cormorant Island is as dramatic as its history. The island's coastline was sculpted during the last great ice age, with glacial till, boulders, and layers of marine sediment accumulating over thousands upon thousands of years. This landscape is shaped daily by the relentless push and pull of tides, by the crash of Pacific storms, and by the slow but constant process of erosion. Each day, the ocean redraws the island's contours, shifting sandbanks and unearthing new mysteries. In recent decades, these natural changes have accelerated, driven by climate change, rising sea levels, more frequent and fierce storms, and an ever-advancing loss of shoreline. For the people of Cormorant Island, these are not distant scenarios. They are immediate, existential threats that put both land and cultural heritage at risk. It is against this dramatic backdrop that the viral Google Maps discovery has thrust Cormorant Island into the global spotlight. Internet detectives, always eager for the next digital oddity, stumbled upon an exposed sandbank, visible only at the lowest tides. From a certain angle, when sunlight glances over the water, the sandbank seems to form the unmistakable outline of a human skull. The image exploded across social media, captivating millions and sparking a tidal wave of speculation. Is it a coded message from ancient astronauts, a warning etched by otherworldly hands? Or is it simply a brief illusion, nature's artwork, amplified by the human tendency to find meaning in chaos? As debates raged online, experts from a wide array of fields joined the conversation. Dr. Emily Carter, a geologist specializing in coastal formations, breaks it down. Sandbanks like these are living features, always in motion, shaped by tides, currents, and seasonal storms. What you see today can vanish tomorrow. The skull's eerie appearance is the result of sediment deposition, water movement, and the ever-changing angle of the sun. Over millennia, glacial melt and Pacific currents have sculpted the underwater landscape, occasionally creating shapes that ignite our imaginations. In fact, the sandbank's dimensions are impressive, stretching nearly 100 meters from end to end, a scale that adds to the sense of mystery. But not everyone is convinced by geology alone. Scott Waring, a well-known UFO enthusiast and founder of the website UFO Sightings Daily, argues, "The details are just too precise to be accidental. I believe this is a deliberate sign from ancient visitors, left for future generations." Waring points to the formation's symmetry and size as evidence of intelligent design. While his theory has no scientific backing, it has captured the imagination of thousands, fueling further online investigations and conspiracy theories. Of course, there is a third explanation, one rooted not in geology or aliens, but deep within the human mind. Psychologists point to the phenomenon of pareidolia, the brain's tendency to perceive familiar shapes, especially faces, in random patterns. Dr. Susan Blackmore, a leading consciousness researcher, explains, "Our brains are prediction machines. Faced with incomplete or noisy information, we fill in the gaps, sometimes seeing faces in clouds, animals in rock formations, or indeed, skulls in sandbanks. This tendency is more than a cognitive quirk. It is a core feature of human perception. Evolutionary psychologists suggest that pareidolia offered our ancestors a critical survival advantage. In a world filled with hidden dangers, it was better to mistake a tangle of branches for a predator than overlook a lurking threat. Over thousands of generations, natural selection favored those whose brains were quick to detect patterns, whether real or imagined. Today, this ancient wiring still guides how we interpret the world, from moments of genuine insight to viral internet phenomena. The Cormorant Island skull is hardly the first time pareidolia has made global headlines. Throughout history, people have reported seeing faces on the surface of Mars, animals in Peru's Nazca lines, and even religious icons on slices of burnt toast. In the late 20th century, NASA's Viking orbiter snapped a famous image of a face on Mars, causing a media sensation and spawning decades of speculation about Martian civilizations. Closer to home, a Finnish study in the early 21st century found that those with strong religious or paranormal beliefs are especially prone to seeing faces and patterns in random noise. Dr. Robin Kramer, an expert in face perception, puts it succinctly. Our face detection system errs on the side of caution. It's better to see faces where there are none than to miss the real ones. Pareidolia, then, is not simply a curiosity. It can shape entire communities, fuel belief systems, and even drive economic and technological trends. In the world of global economics, experts warn that similar cognitive biases can lead people to see phantom patterns in financial data, misread ambiguous signals in world affairs, or fall for viral misinformation. Dr. Susan Wardle, a researcher at the National Institutes of Health, observes, "Most people know when a face in the clouds is just an illusion, but problems arise when we assign deeper meaning to these patterns, or when we lose the ability to discern true perceptions from false ones." Back on Cormorant Island, the viral fame of the skull-shaped sandbank has unleashed a wave of real-world consequences. Tourists, amateur explorers, and digital influencers have begun flocking to Alert Bay, the island's only settlement, to see the mysterious formation with their own eyes. Local businesses, from cozy cafes to vibrant art galleries, have experienced a surge in visitors eager to snap photos and share their own theories online. For a tight-knit community of just a few hundred residents, this sudden burst of attention brings both opportunity and risk. On one hand, the influx of visitors can provide a much-needed economic boost. The island's economy, which has long relied on fishing, forestry, and indigenous art, has been buffeted by shifting market conditions and resource depletion. Sustainable tourism could offer a lifeline, supporting local entrepreneurs, cultural initiatives, and educational programs. For example, the Namgis First Nation has used proceeds from cultural tours to fund language revitalization projects and youth leadership workshops, showing how tourism, when managed carefully, can directly support cultural survival. However, the risks are significant. Environmental scientists warn that the sandbank and its surrounding habitat are fragile in the extreme. Dr. Sarah Jones, a marine biologist with decades of experience in Pacific ecosystems, cautions. Increased foot traffic, boat landings, and careless exploration pose serious threats, not only to the sandbank itself, but to vital nesting sites for double-crested cormorants and other sensitive species. These birds, for which the island is named, play a pivotal role in maintaining the local food web, controlling fish populations, and supporting aquatic vegetation. Disruption of their nesting areas could have cascading effects throughout the ecosystem, potentially destabilizing the balance that has endured for millennia. The challenge is magnified by the relentless advance of climate change. Rising sea levels, intensified storms, and accelerated erosion are already eating away at the island's coastline. Geologists estimate that if current trends continue, much of the sandbank could slip beneath the waves within a few decades. What is now a viral sensation may soon become an underwater memory, a symbol of the wonders we risk losing if we fail to protect fragile environments. Dr. Emily Carter sums it up. Sandbanks are ephemeral, always shifting with the tide and the weather. Heavy tourism or a single violent storm could erase the skull formation forever. The debate over the sandbank's future has forced residents, scientists, and policymakers to grapple with difficult questions. Can the mystery of the skull-shaped formation bring positive attention without destroying what makes this place unique? How can the benefits of geotourism be balanced against the risks of environmental degradation and cultural commodification? And what responsibility do technology companies like Google bear in shaping the narratives and impacts of viral discoveries? Chief Robert Joseph of Reconciliation Canada, a respected Indigenous leader, highlights the need for respect and thoughtful stewardship. This land holds stories that go back more than 10,000 years. The viral image is just one layer atop a much deeper history. Responsible tourism must honor both our ancestors and our future generations. For the Kwakwa and other First Nations, the island is not merely a tourist destination. It is a living, cultural landscape, imbued with spiritual and historical significance. The sandbank's fleeting image, while captivating, must not overshadow the centuries of stewardship, resilience, and identity that define the region. Indigenous leaders are partnering with governments and tourism operators to develop protocols for respectful visitation, including guidance on entering sensitive areas, supporting local businesses, and learning about the island's rich cultural heritage. These efforts mirror similar moves in regions like New Zealand's Waitangi Treaty Grounds and Australia's Uluru, where Indigenous-led tourism has helped visitors understand the deeper significance of the land. One promising path is the development of sustainable tourism models, inspired by international standards set by organizations like the United Nations World Tourism Organization and the Global Sustainable Tourism Council. Certification programs such as Green Globe provide a framework for destinations to minimize their environmental footprint while maximizing cultural and economic benefits. These certifications are not just badges, they require active collaboration among local governments, indigenous communities, tourism operators, and visitors. Successful initiatives often include daily visitor limits, educational tours led by local guides, investments in conservation projects, and infrastructure improvements to protect vulnerable habitats. Cormorant Island is already putting these principles into action. Some residents have launched educational workshops in local schools, using the skull illusion to teach students about geology, ecology, and critical thinking. Artists from the Namjis First Nation are reimagining the sandbank's shape in carvings, paintings, and even digital animations, blending traditional motifs with contemporary themes. There is talk of guided tours that combine scientific explanations, indigenous storytelling, and hands-on conservation activities, offering visitors a richer and more meaningful experience. The saga of the Cormorant Island skull also provides a lens through which to examine the power and pitfalls of digital technology. In today's hyper-connected world, an image can go viral in hours, crossing continents and cultures at the speed of a click. Yet our cognitive biases, like pareidolia, remain unchanged, shaping how we interpret not just satellite images, but headlines, market data, and social trends. Recognizing when our minds are playing tricks on us is a crucial skill, not just for decoding mysterious maps, but for navigating the daily flood of news, opinions, and information that shapes our understanding of the world. What practical lessons can viewers, travelers, and global citizens draw from this extraordinary story? First, it is a masterclass in the power and the pitfalls of human perception. As Dr. Susan Blackmore reminds us, our brains are wired to find meaning, sometimes where there is none. This is a wellspring of creativity, but also a source of misunderstanding. The phenomenon of pareidolia teaches us to question our first impressions, search for evidence, and remain open to alternative explanations. In an era of viral misinformation, this habit of mind is more important than ever. Second, the story underscores the delicate balance between sharing a wonder and preserving it. Whether you are traveling to British Columbia, hiking the peaks of Patagonia, or visiting ancient ruins in your own city, seek out experiences that are guided by local communities and certified for sustainability. Look for tours and businesses that carry the Green Globe or similar certifications. Remember that every visitor leaves a mark, sometimes visible, sometimes invisible, on the places they explore. By choosing responsible options, you help ensure that the wonders you discover today will be there for generations to come. Third, the tale of the Cormorant Island skull is a call to appreciate places not just for their viral potential, but for their deeper stories. The Kwakwa have shaped and been shaped by Cormorant Island for at least 10 millennia. Their voices and perspectives deserve to be central in every conversation about the island's future. Supporting indigenous-led tourism, purchasing authentic local art, and engaging with educational programs are all ways visitors can contribute to a more respectful, mutually beneficial exchange. On a broader scale, the Cormorant Island phenomenon invites reflection on the intersection of technology, perception, and stewardship. Google Maps and similar tools have democratized exploration, allowing anyone with an internet connection to become a digital detective. But with this power comes responsibility. Technology companies can play a role in promoting sustainable tourism by highlighting best practices, supporting local voices, and helping visitors find credible information. Some destinations are experimenting with interactive apps that guide visitors through sensitive areas, providing real-time educational content and conservation tips. These innovations may offer a blueprint for balancing curiosity with care. Looking ahead, the fate of Cormorant Island and its now famous sandbank remains uncertain. If the influx of visitors is managed wisely, the island could become a model for sustainable geotourism, a place where curiosity leads to stewardship, and viral fame is harnessed for cultural and ecological benefit. But if the pressures of climate change and careless exploration go unaddressed, this natural wonder could vanish, taking with it irreplaceable stories, habitats, and opportunities for understanding. The stakes are high, not only for Cormorant Island, but for countless unique places around the world. Here is a secret. The skull-shaped sandbank is never exactly the same from one day to the next. With every shift of the tide and every Pacific storm, its contours change. A living reminder that nature's mysteries are always in motion. As you scroll through strange satellite images, or find yourself caught up in arguments about ancient civilizations, aliens, or optical illusions, remember the lesson of Cormorant Island. Sometimes, the most extraordinary wonders are not coded messages from the cosmos, but fleeting gifts from our own planet, waiting for us to see them clearly, appreciate their complexity, and protect them wisely. If you found this deep dive into global mysteries and the science of perception intriguing, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations of the world's most fascinating stories. Now, we want to hear from you. What is the strangest or most surprising thing you have ever spotted on a map or in satellite photos? Share your discoveries and theories in the comments below. Your curiosity might just inspire our next video. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, sometimes